Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again, and I'm just gonna be honest, it's been quite a while since we've seen a company like this on the screen. Yes, we've been focusing a lot on Woo-Wah, we've been focusing a lot on Enfield and Hypergriff, but now it's time to direct our attention back to MiHoYo, back to Hoyoverse, because it turns out they were doing something that you probably guessed they were doing the entire time. And that's breaking the law. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, MiHoYo staff members have been sentenced to prison. They are going to jail. We've got this article from Dexerto over here that is going to highlight how members of MiHoYo staff have been convicted for bribery and embezzlement. And if you're not familiar with what bribery and embezzlement are, which might be fair, right? Because you're probably like, you know, a 12-year-old gacha player, then the idea is that for bribery, you're giving somebody money illegally so that they do something for you illegally, right? If it was legal, it would just be called a payment. And it's called a bribe because you're not supposed to give them money and they're not supposed to do the thing that they're doing for you. You guys get that? I think that's a pretty clear way of defining a bribe. Now we got embezzlement. And embezzlement is when you work for a company, right? And you allocate funds that should be going from one spot to another, and instead of going to the end destination, it ends up in your bank account. So it's like stealing, right? That's the definition of those two crimes. I think I did a decent job with it, but definitely let me know if I'm wrong about anything in the comments. Genshin Impact developer MiHoYo has confirmed that four former minors and employees have been sentenced to prison following bribery and embezzlement investigations. The company behind games like Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero said the cases were uncovered through an internal investigation aimed at maintaining a fair, honest, and transparent business environment. I see. So what it looks like over here is that there was a bit of like a internal investigation done by Hoyo, specifically for Genshin and ZZZ, and they found that certain employees over there were, I guess, stealing budget from the game and taking shortcuts or something in their operations. This could be an explanation for why certain parts of Zenless Zone Zero have been feeling incomplete. They've had problems. This could be the reason why version 2.4 for Zenless Zone Zero was missing voice lines for Yi Shangguang. It could have been that. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe this explains some of the drop-off in quality. Maybe this is why Columbina looks like a 2-star unit. Yo, wait, is this why Columbina looks like the worst character in the game? Let me just see here. Let's get to her gameplay. Oh, it doesn't even show her gameplay because they know it's trash. Anyways, yeah, I buy it. I buy that. I believe that. Yeah, something got fucked up. I'm glad they investigated it. I remember I made the claim multiple times that Hoyoverse had paycheck stealing devs. That they were paycheck stealing devs. That's like literally confirmed. It is literally confirmed that they had paycheck stealing devs. So much makes sense now. According to the translated statement, 4 employees were found to have abused their positions to solicit commissions and accept bribes from partner companies. Ooh, let me see over here. What's that translated statement looking like? Yeah, I'll read the summary of it from here. Here's a quote from the article. After trial for the 4 MiHoYo employees, the 4 were found guilty of accepting bribes as non-state personnel. So does that mean that if you're a state personnel, you can take them? Sorry, that's just the way that I read that, because it only looks like a crime if you're not state. Anyways, I don't know if that's true or not. MiHoYo said one was sentenced to 1 year and 4 months in prison. 2 received 1 year and 3 months, and another was sentenced to 6. MiHoYo also dismissed another employee from the original Genshin Impact product marketing team. So they got a 5th guy in here as well. And this person was apparently going ahead and abusing their role, starting their own company, or like, oh, they might have hired themselves. That's the thing that happens all the time. You hire yourself, right? You work at a company and you go buy a service from another one and it's just you. That's embezzlement. Because the company's supposed to be paying a vendor and they're just paying you. You're a fake vendor. You're not actually giving anything. So that is 1,000,000%. Yeah, that sounds like embezzlement over there. Seems pretty rock solid to me. No real complaints about that one. And they're calling it a serious conflict of interest. Yeah. The company said it has transferred related leads to public security authorities for further investigation. So the way that I'm viewing this right now is that this is definitely not stuff that necessarily puts MiHoYo into a negative light. I think it gives them like an explanation for why they might have had misallocated budget or like not, or like, you know, a bit of like a different development timeline than what they should have had. But I don't think it's like, oh, like, right, we have like MiHoYo employees like robbing other companies or like breaking the law. They are, but they're like screwing over MiHoYo in the process. So this just kind of looks like the company cleaning house to, I guess, stop getting stolen from. Seems like a reasonable thing to me. MiHoYo maintains a zero-tolerance attitude towards commercial bribery, embezzlement, and other fraudulent activities, reads the statement. Adding that anyone found engaging in such conduct will be permanently barred from employment. I guess they're not getting rehired ever again. Yeah, they're getting permabanned, boys. And the developer confirmed that the suppliers connected to the cases have been added to a fraud blacklist and will never cooperate with the company again. So, like, everyone is kind of just fucked here in this circumstance, but it doesn't matter because the companies weren't even real. MiHoYo also revealed that they will continue to strengthen anti-fraud measures and cooperate with judicial authorities to pursue legal responsibility where criminal activity is suspected. So, yeah, the viewpoint that I have over here is, I think this is good news to have if you're an enjoyer of Hoyo games. Because I guess that means that they're slowly but surely starting to, like, get their shit together. But I'm not sure if this is something that, like, explains fully what's been going on with all of their games. What's going on in HSR and 4.0. And the fact that everyone thinks it's just going to be a complete fucking disaster. What's going on with ZZZ and 2.6? Guys, I've, like, seen the revenue on the App Store posts for ZZZ 2.6, it looks bad. Bro, that's the debut banner for Suna. That's where it debuted, the debut banner for Suna. That's Ameth, right? That's Suna. Because, like, obviously, right, she's a little girl, and most people don't want to pull a little girl because they're not a weirdo. That's the succinct way of putting it. And if that offends you, you're a weirdo. Anyways, you have that, and obviously, what I just showed you over here. The kit quality in this game literally went downhill when this is supposed to be one of the newest characters ever, the Archon of the newest region. And then they produced this piece of shit that just looks like shit. And it's so shitty that people think Barbara and Kokomi, characters released 3+ years ago, look better. And I think it's just a matter of, is MiHoYo going to release something that explains the massive drop-off in quality across all of their games? Or is it just going to be more excuses for why those things are happening? I feel like the entire player base for all three of these games deserves an apology. But instead you get this. It is what it is. I guess it is sort of good news, but I guess in relation to everything else Hoyo's been putting out, this is amazing news. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.